Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of StandPoint. I am Veronica Danik-Boy. As the democratic process continues to unfold in Nigeria, electioneering is fast becoming a periodic ritual since the advent of the Fourth Republic in 1999, with 153 days to the 2019 general election. Conversations have gone from the gale of defections to political realignments where politicians are already declaring their intention to run for various positions ahead of the poll many believe would be the mother of all elections in our history. In the course of the show, we will be looking at party politics and also beaming our searchlight on the politics of the National Assembly, amongst other matters arising ahead of the 2019 general election. Joining me on this special edition of StandPoint is Honorable James Faleke, member of the Federal House of Representatives representing Ikeja Federal Constituency. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Now let's look at our national politics. Nigeria has witnessed almost 2 decades of uninterrupted democracy from the backdrop of military intrusion. As a stakeholder within the polity, how would you assess our nascent democratic dispensation so far, how we have evolved in terms of dividends of democracy from the 16 years PDP rule, and how your party have steered the ship of the state in the last 3 years? But first, let's look at the description of our democracy as nascent. Some have said we shouldn't describe it as that. But for you, how would you describe our democracy? How have we evolved?
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity you've given me. When we look at, if I'm to define our own democracy, those who feel that we should not call it nascent might have their point, believing that we have come from 16 years and plus 3 years, maybe 19 years of practical democracy. The unfortunate thing is that the past 16 years had not been that pure democracy. It has been rule of the thumb by the past party, that is PDP.
And that's why you described the 3 years as practical.
Yes, this 3 years is pure practical, because in those 16 years, there were really no dividends of democracy. The performances of the party was very bad, and the people never enjoyed the democratic dividends expected of that party. So that makes it difficult for them to think that the party, our democratic practice has actually grown. For me, I think that it's evolving. The democratic process is evolving. The last 3 years of the administration of President Muhammad Buhari has actually shown the way that we have laid the foundation. We are just laying the foundation now of democracy.
What is this foundation?
Well, this foundation, of course, is based on development. It's based on representation. It's based on the people's interest. It's based on what exactly does the people want? What do we want to do? How do we go about it? Remember that when the president came on board, when this government came on board, the exchange rate crashed straight to about $30 from 100 and something, 180 at the time, 140 at the time when PDP was there. Yet, this country came out of it. We went into recession. Recession, we came out of it. And that is why I say we are just laying the foundation. Now you see projects everywhere. Now you see that...
I think this foundation is strong and has been able to form a foundation that can be built on, a structure that can be built on that will stand.
Of course, it's getting stronger, because now we can sit down in the TSA and say, this is how much this country is making. Unlike before, that various agencies make the money and they just spend it anyhow. And they just spend it anyhow. Now the government can plan because they know the source of income, they know how much is expected. This is the first time in the government of a country that made money available to states to pay salaries, because they were concerned, the president was concerned about the welfare of the people. So it's about democracy. So the dividends of democracy starts from people attending to the people's wish.
Government of the people. Now,
Yes.
what would you then call, because you spoke about the past 16 years not yielding the dividends of democracy. Now, how would you describe APC's ability to ensure that Nigerians, irrespective of religion, tribe, or political affiliation, were able to enjoy the dividends of democracy?
As far as APC is concerned, the issue of the Constitution is highly respected. There's no discrimination. Wherever you live and you are part of, you want to play your politics, you are free to do that. In terms of religion, there is no discrimination. What people think is fight against, of religion is about these herdsmen. But this thing had been there for a long time. It's not just now. It's not now. And Buhari promised security. When he was campaigning, he said, I will stop the issue of Boko Haram. And he succeeded to a larger extent. So the issue of herdsmen had been there before now, and he's tackling it headlong. I'm sure you know that if you don't have community clashes, you will hardly find all these type of problems in our country. So as far as I know, and as a member of this party, I strongly believe that the present government is doing the best it can do in terms of dividends of democracy, is doing the best in terms of playing good politics nationally, is allowing opposition to do what they want to do, is allowing free flow of ideas, information. This is the government that you have social media menace everywhere attacking Mr. President, sitting governors attacking Mr. President, and yet he never complained. This is the government you have, Mr. President, that you see he will listen to you. Even if you abuse him till tomorrow, he is still there. Do you understand? So for me, our democracy is evolving. It's evolving. We can't get there overnight. As long as we are able to build a strong economy, and this is the foundation we have. We are building a strong economy. The banks have stabilized. The banks have stabilized. We are only expecting that the interest rates, CBN will be able to control the interest rates. The industries should come back. And this does not happen overnight. In 3 years, come on, we need to give kudos to Mr. President.
But you remember still talking about democracy, that at some point there was a call for restructuring because some persons felt that they were not benefiting from these dividends that you have spoken about, these dividends of the democracy that you have spoken about. And so they were calling for cessation in some parts of the country, and others were talking about you go back leave our state and go back to your region and all of that. And then there was the Operation Python dance that was sent, to the south. And so how would you see how the president was able to handle all of this? Because he has been accused of not being pacey enough, if I may use the word, not fast enough to respond to issues.
Well, let me say that those issues you have raised are part of the politics to paint the government bad. Unfortunately, they failed because the issue of secession or the issue of restructuring had been there from day one. This is not just starting today. It depends on the angle you are looking at. What do you mean by restructuring? Is it that we need to? Some are saying let us separate ourselves, let us divide, and you go your way. This government will not allow that. We are not. This president took part in fighting civil war. You understand? In ensuring that Nigeria remains one, and his business is to ensure that we remain one. We remain one. The restructuring we should be talking about is federalism. Allowing states to develop on their own and contributing to the center. That's what we should be talking about, not secession, not the IPOP programs, not this and that.
Would you say that this government is aligned to that idea?
Of course,
that's
what Mr. Vice President spoke about. That we should be talking about true federalism in terms of restructuring, not the one the other people are talking about.
But how is it that it's seeming like they are not trying to look in the direction? Because there are, in some quarters, it's like this government is not looking at, ensuring that this restructuring really takes off because it has spoken about it.
Come on. If you say this government has not really, How would they say they are not looking into the restructuring? On what issue? Do you understand? What are the issues?
Especially on the issue of security and electricity.
Listen to me. These two issues you have mentioned, you want to devolve, you want states to take control of their security. They don't have the capacity to do that. We don't have independent, we don't have separate armies, we don't have separate police. And that's why the National Assembly wanted to do what we call state police. But it was the same people who said, no, don't do it. Because if you allow state police, you have these people using the police to harass us, you have that using the police to harass us. We saw this thing coming when we started talking about state police, long time ago. Not today. My leader, National Ashwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, started this idea when he was in government. Let us have state police, as it is done in terms of true federalism. When you have true federalism, you have this type of thing. But that does not stop other critical sectors from development. Talking about power.
Yes.
Talking about power.
Before you go to power, I need to mention something because when you look at the security issue in the country, even the vice president at some point agreed that because of the nature of the country, we can't have, the center cannot really control the security, and deal with the security issues around the country. And that is why there was clamor for state policing, because of the challenges we are facing. So how do we move on from here when the challenges we are facing are still staring us in the face when it comes to security?
Look, all criminals live within the communities. They don't fly from nowhere. They are no ghosts. All those who cause crisis live within our communities. And so the more you give information to the police, the better for all of us. The more all of us are involved in the security architecture, the better for all of us. Information is what the police need to be able to act. If you give information to the police or the armed forces, they will act. But what we are talking about is that if you have community policing or state policing, yes, I believe it will be better for us. I believe it will be better for us. But you see, the national politics that they play along this line, it's not the best for us. The earlier, we attempted it in the constitutional amendment. It was rejected. You understand? So it's not new. We've done it over time, more than 7 years. Every year they reject it. No, it's not. We are too young to allow that. We are not mature to have state police. It's always like that. And so when this crisis now come to hit us, that's when people now say, "Oh, we need to look at this state police once again." This will have had this long time ago under this government. This is my own understanding. So the earlier we all decide to say, look, if you have state police and they operate within rules and regulations, the problem we have is that everybody believes that if you have an authority, you misuse it. Because some of our policemen, unfortunately, some of them, not all of them, are misusing the opportunities they have. And so allowing them to be controlled by the states or allowing the state to have their own state police, they believe it could be counterproductive.
Now, let's go back to the issue of electricity. You were going to that before I cut in.
Yeah, I was trying to say that, look, electricity is a major thing that we need in this country. And we expect that if we have constant electricity, a lot of things will come on stream. Our industries will come back. Most of those industries that have relocated will come back. And in doing this, there was this privatization. Okay, it was sold, and the unfortunate thing is that even those who went and value the infrastructure available in power sector and bidded for it and paid could not do anything about it. Government again came up and said, okay, what are your problems? You need assistance. They assisted them. And yet up to today, we haven't gotten anything out of it. For me, it's not that it has not improved a bit. It has improved a bit in some areas. But for me, I think that we should just go back, cancel it, and redo it totally, and allow those who are actually serious to invest in power. I think there was so much politics that was involved. They use a lot of politics to allocate these things to their cronies, rather than looking at those who have the capacity to do it. And that's why we find ourselves where we are today. We are not serious. Everything we want to do, we say, okay, no, he's a member of our party, he's my brother, or is this, and without looking at the capacity. And when they get it, they start looking for a source of funding. They don't have it. That's the problem we find. That's where we find ourselves. I mean, you can see them fighting, Fashola fighting, everybody arguing. How can you take, look, as a member of House of Rep, I know how many transformers I had provided for my constituency. You understand? It shouldn't be my duty. That shouldn't be at all. It should be the duty of the power companies, even to provide meters. They don't want to, because they want to continue to cheat Nigerians. So the best approach, as far as I'm concerned, it might be might be out of place, is to just cancel this privatization and pay them off, and let's sit down and do it properly and get people who get foreign investors or Nigerians who are actually serious in investing.
All right. Earlier you talked about the government looking at ensuring that it took care of the people in terms of payment of salaries, ensuring that state governments were able to
intervene.
Yes, interventions.
Yes.
And then it also boils down to states looking at within. Another aspect that has been talked about, why states cannot look inwards to ensure that the resources they have, they can generate funds and then, contribute to the center instead of the center always dishing out funds to them. Because how long are we going to continue this way?
My point is that when states were created, when additional states were created, there were a lot of politics and tribalism that went into it. States that ordinarily shouldn't have been created were created. You have to look at the resources. Can these states survive? Most of the states that were created in Nigeria by the military, most of the states cannot survive on their own without allocation. If you stop allocation today, federal allocation today, so many of the states will not be able to do anything. And even majority of the states that whatever allocation they get, it goes into salary payment. The overhead is so high. And unfortunately, you can't have development like that. People will not enjoy democracy when you use maybe 80% of your income to pay salaries and you have nothing left for capital development. And so for me, I think that to get to a stage that this country will sit down and say, look, maybe we should merge some states. Maybe not. And can we continue like this? No. That every month you have to go begging. That's why we are saying if you restructure by allowing true federalism and allow these states to develop on their own. In the past, West was developing at a level that other regions were emulating. And you only contribute a certain percentage to the center. And so I think that that's the best way to go and allow states to develop. If those states, either in the north or in the east or in the west, are unable to, they will now say, come, we can't develop on our own, let us march. And that maybe at the end of the day, that will be the way we go.
But why can't we just come together and look at that now? Because the way we are going, it's like we're sitting on a keg of gunpowder.
You see, that's why I said there are a lot of tribalism and politics that goes with it, rather than looking at it critically and say, look, what we are doing, we're not doing it right, we are not going to get to our final destination if we continue this way. The best approach, of course, is to see how we can evolve a new method that will bring up the best within our states. Until we put aside these issues, to my mind, until we put aside these issues, that's the only time these states can develop. And you see so many interest groups in those states. People thinking that it is their own decision. They made these states to be created, and so they should be part of taking that decision to manage the state. Come on, when they die, they go away, and the states will still survive.
All right, let's look at some other issues right now. The National Assembly has been embroiled in so many controversies with the continuous gale of defection and the ruling APC losing both leadership of the hallowed chambers to the opposition. What is the implication of this on the ruling APC ahead of the general election? Now, when the Senate President defected, there were calls for him to relinquish his position as the Senate President. But then the rules says the majority that voted him in, and he was voted in. But then the party is saying that he came in as a Senate President on the platform of our party. And so now that he has left, he should relinquish that position. Where do you stand on this?
The issue is that if you are part of a majority party, that was why he was elected in the first instance to become the Senate president. And the moment he decides to leave the majority party, ordinarily he should find his way out of the seat. But because the rules does not allow that system to flow, our rules in the National Assembly is quite a bit different. And when you look at the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, it says that if you have to impeach Mr. President, it says all members of the National Assembly, 2/3 of all. Yeah. But when it comes to the issue of the leadership of the National Assembly, the impeachment or the removal of the Mr. Senate President and Mr. Speaker, it says members, 2/3 of members. The word all is not there. And so this thing is very tricky, but for us, when we get back, we will see the policies we are going to play.
How do you envisage it will play out? What do you think will be
naturally,
the fate of Yakubu Dogara and...
for Yakubu Dogara, I don't think he has defected. I have not seen his defection. I have not seen it yet. He has not announced.
But there are reports saying that he has unofficially, decamped to the PDP.
To us, to me, I still see it as rumor. Even when you look at the day he was presented with the form, or PDP form, when you look at him, when you look at the picture, he wasn't happy at all. He wasn't a happy man.
So you were looking at his body language?
I look at his body language, I say, man, this man is not a happy man. It's either he's thinking, how am I going to go about this? Or this is going to be a tough game for me.
Why should it be?
It's going to be a tough game for him because, look, relatively, the House has been very peaceful. I've respected him, in his capacity as the Speaker. He's been good to majority of PDP members. Supported him to become Speaker. And so we operate like comrades on the floor of the House. But when it comes to leadership change, when you decide to go to another party, then it becomes a different ballgame entirely. The game will change completely by the time we resume. So I think that he knows the implication. And it's either you want to have a rancor-free House or you want to, I'm
sure the viewers want to understand why it's going to, this implication is such a Herculean one, if I may use that word, is such a tough one. Because we need to understand that aspect. Why is it going to be so tough for him? He has the right to move.
He has the right to move. Unlike what you have in the Senate, members of the House of Rep are quite different ballgame entirely. We are very radical. We have our views. We have our disposition. We respect our parties. PDP fight for their parties, we also fight for our party. Do you understand? So, like I said, I'm just saying that I have not heard that he had defected.
Yes.
So I'm just saying that in case,
assumptions.
Yeah, in case
he
takes that decision, then it becomes a different ballgame entirely. Everybody, my body language will change. His own will change, and so the way we relate will change.
Why should
on issues? If you bring national issues, and he decides to do it the way it should be done, there will be no crisis. But if you take sides because you are now in another party, then there will be crisis on the floor. That's the way it is.
But shouldn't the Nigerians be the focus? National issues, yes.
I say if you bring national issues and you treat this national issue based on partisan.
Neutrality.
If you treat it neutrally as the Speaker, and you sit and moderate well, and say, okay, no, I think I align with APC, irrespective of the fact that I'm PDP. I align with APC, or the other way around. If you allow free flow of ideas and debates, and you rule accordingly, there will be no crisis.
But what do you envisage for the Senate president?
Well, honestly, I'm not in the Senate, but they have their own rules, they have their own way of doing it, and I'm sure the senators are. They know what they want to do. I don't...
Because at some point there were rumors of people saying that they want to impeach him. That is why there were some other issues of saying that he should come back, they should resume, they should call off their recess and resume to address certain issues.
No, you call it rumor. And I want to take it like that, it is rumor. that he wants to be impeached. First, when you take a decision to plunge yourself into trouble, you should expect that trouble. For me, I think that Mr. President, the Senate President, he took that decision to say, look, I'm leaving this party, I'm going to PDP, where he came from in the first instance. And he should expect that the house that he's leaving, they will not find it easy with him. You understand? So it's natural. It's natural. And I'm sure that our national chairman has spoken. And let's leave the senators to take care of their own issues.
Now that he has left, do you think that it has any implication on the APC in terms of looking at the fact that the elections are at hand? Does it have any impact on the party?
No, give it to him. I think he only has capacity in Kwara. And that capacity is dwindling day by day. Let me tell you, Saraki has never won election in an opposition party. Do you understand? So this will be the first time that Saraki will be in an opposition party, and we will want to test his popularity in Kwara, whether he has actually won election free and fair or not. This is the first time he's been in PDP winning elections.
So this is a litmus test?
This is a litmus test for him, and he has never won elections in an opposition party. So for me, I think that the paraphernalia of office that he had always had opportunity to use might not be there this time around.
All right. We'll quickly take a break and return to talk more with our guest. Do stay with us. All right, you see, watching StandPoint, and in the studio we still have Honorable James Faleke, member of the Federal House of Representatives representing Ikeja Federal Constituency. Now, let's bring all the discussions home to you now. Tell us, you've represented Ikeja Federal Constituency for about 7 years, and you intend to run again. But then let's start with some accusations from some of your some other persons who are trying to contest that position with you. One of them is Toke Benson Awinka, who has said that she has accused you, rather, of ghost representation and not injecting fresh ideas into Ikeja Federal Constituency.
Thank you. First,
Perhaps you might want to tell us those things that you have done for the past 7 years and make her understand those things.
Thank you very much. Yeah. It's unfortunate that Mrs. Toke Benson Awoyinka, or what, Awoshika, came talk about ghost representation. First, before I go into what I have done or what we are still doing for Ikeja Federal Constituency, I want to say that she should be accused of that activity. She does not live in Ikeja. She lives in Naija, whether it's Badore or whatever it is. Nobody knows her house. No constituent knows her house. The position she was before she resigned last week, that is the assistant legal advisor. Yes. I made it possible for her. Oh, really? So if I was a ghost representative, I wouldn't have achieved that for her. How did I do it? When we were forming APC in 2014, of course, there were requests for women to come into the party. I mean, we wanted women at the state secretariat. And one of our leaders in Ikeja was given the opportunity to bring about 4 or 5 women into the party secretariat. And she called my attention to it, and I said, please, give me 1 slot. And the slot she gave me, I gave it to Toke Benson. We took the form to her in her house to fill and sign. That is how she became, and we used our group, our political machinery, to vote for her. That's how she became a member of the state ESCO. Now, let me tell you, I'm sorry, I need to address these issues once and for all. Who is Toke Benson? What's her pedigree? Toke Benson wanted to contest election in 2007 with my predecessor, Honorable Bayo Delano. And the moment he saw that she was not going to win, what did she do? She decamped to Labour. Labour Party and contested under Labour and won and had scored less than 1,000 votes in the entire federal constituency. So that is one. Now, when she became a member of the State Exco, of course, we had to do primaries for Mr. President. We had to do primaries for the governor. We had to do primaries for the Senate. And as a team, as Ikeja is known, we work together. When we agree this is where we are going, all of us will go there as delegates. What did she do? At the stadium, at Balogun Stadium, Teslim Balogun Stadium, Toka Benson voted for Atiku when all of us agreed to vote for Buhari. All right? She voted Atiku. And when we challenged her, what did she say? She said, yeah, because the wife of Atiku, the sister of Atiku's wife is her friend. So politics on friendship. Now, what did she do again? We went and voted. I'm sorry, because you raised this issue.
Okay. Perhaps we might want to leave that now, because so that we'll focus on the issues.
No, it's very important. We went and voted Ambode, okay? She voted Shashore. She betrayed Ikeja. Do you understand? Then the issue of Senate, we agree where we are going to vote. She betrayed us again 3 times.
All right. So let's leave it at that.
Let's look at my performances.
Fine.
Who is the ghost representation? I live in Ikeja. I live at Yetunde Morgan. That's the house. Number 4, that's the house I lived before I became a council chairman. I have been living there. I have never left there. Okay, my family is there, and that's where I reside. I am 24 hours there, anytime, any day, except I'm in Abuja. So what does she mean by being the ghost representation? Because the party asked me to help the party in Kogi State to win election. Because I was seen to be a good material that could mobilize people where I come from. I have never hidden my identity. From day one, I have always said I am from Kogi State. Go through all my forms, all my LISEC and INEC from Kogi State, state of origin. But this is where I reside. Over 30 years, I have lived my life in Lagos, all my children, everything in Lagos. And so I went to Kogi on the instructions of, because late Audu, Prince Audu, requested our national leaders to help him with somebody of my pedigree. Then I was introduced to him. He interviewed me. I asked him what his objectives are, what does he want to do, because he had ruled the state before. And all the projects he did was see the existing legacies that we have in that state. And so I joined to work with him. Before now, Audu had never won West Senatorial districts. 7 local governments in West Senatorial districts. I got in there in less than 3 months, we turned things around. And out of 7 local governments, we won 6. And we defeated an incumbent government of PDP. We only lost in this local government of the deputy governor. We lost with 300 votes. Do you understand? And the moment we led with 41, APC, with 41,000 votes. Okay? And rather than our national secretariat to challenge INEC to release the results, they played dirty politics. Because they say, I am loyal to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And I told them I have no apologies. Because Bola Ahmed Tinubu made me whom I am. And so if you say because of a position, forget about your position. I remain Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's loyalist. And so I said, no, I will challenge this. I want to test this, whether it is legal or not. And I begged my leader, I said, sir, let me test this. As a lawmaker, let me test it. The constitution is very clear. I haven't led with 41,000 votes. The areas where elections were cancelled, all right?
Yeah.
They had 25,000 registered voters who collected PVC, all right? So even if you give all the 25,000 to PDP, they were not going to meet 41,000. Very clear. We knew that it was politics, bad politics. And then that was when people thought that they could edge out Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and allowing him to come to the north using me was too dangerous for some of them. Some of the governors who are now parading themselves, they want to become president today, were part of a meeting where they planned that coup to say, if you allow this boy to come to the north, he will, before you know it, Bola Tinubu will take over all the northern states because they will bring the Lagos development into Kogi, and it will put pressure on the northern governors. Yeah. That was the politics. So it has nothing to do. And so, if I am, this is not the first time I have assisted election in other states, participated in other states to help them to help our party to win. As a loyal party man, today, if I'm asked to go to Anambra to go and help APC, I will go there.
All right.
So for somebody to say I'm ghost, who is she? She's nobody. We have said, I respect her as a woman. They've given you opportunity to reduce the price of form. You've bought your form, let us go into primaries. If you know you have capability, let's go into primary. Why are you whipping up unnecessary sentiments? So I came throughout my contest, whatever in Kogi, I reside in Lagos here.
All right.
My family still remain here. I have never left here. And so for the fact that I am back, she's jittery.
Okay.
So
now let's come back
home.
Your 7 years, your achievements,
yes.
And the ideas, the fresh ideas you want to inject down that you want to return.
Thank you. First of all, let me tell you that representation. As a lawmaker, what are my duties? My duties are lawmaking, representation, and oversight. In areas of lawmaking, I have presented 22 bills. 22 bills. So when we talk about performance, I have done well in terms of bills presentation. In areas of representation, I have done so much empowerment of our people. I have done so much projects. I have built 9 blocks of classrooms. In Ogbaluwale is there, in her ward, in Toka Benson's ward. A 3 block of classrooms with teachers, with furniture is there today. I have done 3 blocks of classrooms at Onilekere in Ikeja. Another 3 blocks of classrooms is going on right away. 2017 project. The executive just awarded it. It's still going on today at GRA, LEA Primary School in GRA. They are constructing it right away. So, in education, I have done so much. I paid people's school fees. You attend to so many indigent students. I have employed 40 residents, 40 constituents from Ikeja. It has never happened before. 40 into federal agencies. And their names, our pictures, everything were there. The letters of our, if I knew you asked, I would bring all copies. I will show it to the world. And so they are all benefiting. They have benefited, and they are all in their various places of assignment. Look, our 37 LCDs that were created, which I was a beneficiary, we have moved bills and constitutional amendment to allow the 37 LCDs to be listed in the Constitution. Do you understand? Unfortunately, because we don't have the majority, they have year in, year out. All House of Rep members from Lagos, we have always done this. It has always been, we have always been defeated. Of course, majority will always carry the day, but for us, we will continue to present it every year, in constitutional amendment program. And apart from that, I made NYC Amendment Act. When you look at our children, they go to school, you pay their fees, and they graduate, they go and serve government, and they die along the line. Accidents here and there. I brought an amendment to the NYC Act to allow insurance, coverage for all youth corpers, from the day they are posted to the day they go to camp until 1 week after that they graduate. That was the bill I did, and it succeeded. You understand? So today, God forbid, we don't expect them to die. We don't pray that, but in case it happens, they have a compensation package, an insurance package for them. Look, apart from that, I have, when we talk about code of conduct, our behavior, the way we acquire properties, the way we, the only court that we have is in Abuja, the Code of Conduct Tribunal, and with only 2 judges, okay? And so they are overworked. I moved an amendment to the Act to decentralize these courts so that it can have, the tribunals can be in all the states, so that you can have quick dispensation of justice, and the fear of acquisition of wealth or property, illegal acquisition of property, will be there. When you see a Code of Conduct Tribunal in your state, and you say, wow, if I misbehave, this is where I'm likely to end up. To end up. Look, I have done the last bill I did before coming, before we vacated, is that each time I come home for holidays, we sit down, apart from watching news, we see our children watching Cartoon Network and all the rest. In those days, we used to have educational channels. And so I moved a bill to amend the NBC Act to allow TV stations, to compel, not even to allow, to compel TV stations to ensure they have a program on education so that our children can be watching that rather than watching cartoon networks. When it comes to transformers, in Ikeja Federal Constituency, I have provided 17 transformers in my 7 years of being in the National Assembly. I have provided over 11 boreholes. You understand? Because from our constituency projects. So how can somebody say ghost representation? What does she mean? She's nobody. I mean, do you understand? It's not about going here and going to social media and start talking. Politics is the grassroots. We don't play politics in...
All right, let's focus on the issues. You've been able to achieve all of this for the past 7 years. So what is new that you're bringing to the table?
Okay, thank you. You know, now, the politics that is coming out now is more of critical, very, very critical.
Why so?
We are going into critical, because do you know how many members how many people are contesting against Mr. President in the other party? Do you understand? Do you need a Wickler to represent, to be a candidate in the Ikeja and then we lose the election to those people? No way. You don't need somebody that is not known, somebody who has betrayed us 3 times in ordinary delegate election to go and then represent us, and then she will decamp. From the late Tububo that we voted for in ACL, decamped to PDP. Took our vote to PDP. He's late now. I don't want to talk too much about him. That's the same way this woman will do. No, we will not allow that. Ikeja is too...
But that's preempting her, though.
Of course, because of her pedigree. Because of her pedigree. Somebody who decamped to Labour came back to us and she refused to be a team player. You can't be representing Ikeja, Center of Excellence, and you're not a team player. No, it doesn't work. You don't have a mind of your own. You have the mind of your constituents. It is your constituents' wish that you must project at the national
quickly
front.
Before we move forward, we have a caller on the line, Mazi Okorafo on the line. Please go ahead with your contribution, quickly.
Yeah, my name is Mazi Okorafo from Restructuring in Abia State. Good afternoon, my sister. Good afternoon, Honorable Falake.
Good afternoon.
So I want to find out from you. You are talking about the development. The Constituency Fund, which the National Assembly members for even states, what are the responsibility of such fund? Because why I'm asking this question is that today in Nigeria, there are a lot of problems among the youth. You already said what you have done about schools and the rest. But there are so many things that this issue of the youth in the community, and they are complaining day in, day out. What do you have in stock for the Ikeja, that's the concern where you take care of? Because today, many youths they are suffering. You have to know exactly the high rate of unemployment and the crime. That the vices is getting out of proportion. What do you have right now before you...
Mazi, thank you so much for your contribution and your questions. I guess we were going to that, what you have for, because I asked what you're bringing to the table now.
Thank you very much. You see, the opportunity we have in this country is that so many of us lack information. I just want to attend to the question. You talk about constituency fund projects. Lagos State, as a member of House of Rep for Lagos State, I have just 42 million naira constituency projects fund. Cash not given to me. It's allocated to, this is what you have. Go bring projects of 42 million naira. Why do I have 42 million? Because we are 24 from Lagos State. Those who are 9 or 6 have more money because we share the same amount. You have 42 million naira, and the executive put the budgets of the project that you want to do. You don't have control of the amount. So the 3 blocks of classroom, for example, that I say I did, they are 23 million naira. 1. So if I take 1 out of 42, the rest I have to see what areas of needs my people need before I spread it across. Do you understand? And so it is not cash given to members. I want to disabuse the minds of youth. Now, talking about our youths, what I observe is that so many of our youth, the ones that want to go to school, have no money.
Yes.
The ones that even want to buy jam, I know how many jam funds we buy, And so one of my motions I moved was to tell jam to reduce the price of the cost of jam from 7,500 to 3,000 naira, which was unanimously adopted by the House. And if you educate more of them, more of our youth, I know in areas of technical education now, we should leave English, history, or whatever. They should go technical so that we can become employers of labor. Because there is no more, the government job that we used to scrabble for are no longer there. And so we need, our curriculum need to change, go more of technical. That's why the Chinese are better than us. There's no Chinese that graduate that is not technically inclined. And so my own advice for our youth is to go more technical.
All right, we have another caller on the line. Caller calling from Ikeja. Go ahead with your question or contribution.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I'd like to quickly ask some questions from Honorable Faleke.
All right, quickly.
Okay, Honorable Faleke, you said that you were the one who installed Toke Benson as a stand legal officer. Is it in your prerogative to install a legal officer of the state or the prerogative of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu? That's number one.
Caller?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, your other question, quickly, because we're running out of time.
My other question is that, I would like to tell him that he said he has installed transformers. That is not true, because we have transformers.
Okay.
Caller, where are you? Are you still on?
Yes.
All right, I guess you want to quickly address that because it seems we've
Mr. Caller, what I said is this. I said the opportunity was given to us to introduce women into the state secretary as members of State ESCO. And I was given a slot. I gave it to Toke Benson. She cannot deny that. And I used my political structure to vote for her. That's what I said. I used my political structure to vote for her, not that I install. Don't use that word install. I used my political structure to vote for her. Now I said I bought transformers. And I can tell you, if you, the transformers, Erosio Street, Ogusola Street, Araromi Street, Akiode, Obanta Street, Additional Street, Jogosimi Street, to mention a few, they are all there. They are not lies. So maybe you need to do more of your investigation. Thank you, Mr. Kola.
All right, back to the question. You were going to tell us what your plans are, seeing that
yes, you see, as a legislator, the more you are, the longer you stay in the legislative process, the better you are. And so if you are a first-timer, you can't get anything done until you gain more experience. In your first year your first 4 years, you just become a novice. So the more you stay, the better for us. Now, if I go back by the grace of God, I have more, the networks that I have, we can get more employment opportunities, more empowerment programs to our women, to our youths, to everybody. Because what is lacking now is that of employment opportunities for our people. And this is what I want to concentrate more on.
All right, so now let's quickly ask. So you will be going head-to-head with alongside 3 contestants. So what are your chances from all of this that you have said? I
have 2 of them. I'm sure by today, 3 of us have collected form and submitted.
Yeah.
And I have 98% chance to win my elections. I will win hands down, 98%. We have 18.
Why are you so confident?
Because I know my ground. I'm a grassrooter. We have 18 wards. 18 wards. The two of that contestants are from the same ward, the same zone, and I will beat them in their ward.
You are so sure?
Very sure. I will beat them in their ward. I will beat the 2 of them in their ward. Mr. Anyikajeje is a gentleman. I have no problem with him at all. I have no problem with him. But this other lady, the way they've gone destroying characters, it's not the habit. It's not our habit in the Ikeja Federal Constituency. We don't destroy people because you want to contest election. No. But if you win primaries, will you come back to me that you have destroyed to come and help you to win election? She can't win on her own. So we don't destroy people.
That has been part of our politics for a
long time. For us in Ikeja, we don't do that. We don't do that. It has never been part of us. We discuss issues. We attack issues. Even my PDP opponents that I have always defeated were based on issues, not personality, not person. I don't attack their persons.
All right. Now, let's look at the decision for the party, that's the APC, to go ahead with direct primaries. What is your take? Because recently the Lagos State, conducted some primaries, and it's like they went ahead with the direct primaries.
Well, let me tell you, the constitution is very clear, of our party is very clear. You have 3 methods: direct, indirect, or consensus. And at the stakeholder meeting attended by our leader, national leader, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the entire party members agreed that we should go direct. And that is as a Democrat, he has to obey them. And so direct primaries is the best way to go. Why do I say so? The entire card-carrying members of the party, will be allowed to have a say in who becomes the House of Rep member, House of Assembly member, the governor. That's the way it is. Rather than we delegates, maybe about 200 or 300 delegates induced with funds.
Does the party have details of this entire card-carrying members? Because that was another challenge.
No. We are all registered. We are, just as you have party membership card, we are all registered party members. And we have our membership card. They are being printed. Do you understand? And so when we were in here, we had our party cards. Today, you remember when they did direct primary in Osun, all right? And they used that method, the membership register and the cards. And so they voted, and there were no crises at all. Those who lost accepted that they lost because of lack of being popular. Do you understand? And so that's what will happen. In direct primaries, you put yourself out, test your popularity within the people. It energizes the party. Do you understand? Because, let me tell you, indirect, we can go and sit down in one hall and do an indirect primary and people will emerge. Majority of people at home don't even know what has happened until we just announce, hey, somebody has won the election. That's indirect. And indirect is susceptible to corruption. I can buy you, I can put money in your account overnight and then you vote for me. But direct, how many people where are you going to get the funds? It is your work, it is your pedigree that will speak for you. It is your popularity that will speak for you in a direct primary. And so I completely support that direct primary approach. And those who are claiming that the registers are not there, this and that, it is not true. The registers are there. Our leader said, hold me responsible for your membership card. I saw his own membership card.
All right.
So it's the best way to go.
Quickly, because we are running out of time, there's been stories making the rounds in Lagos State about, 2 other candidates emerge aside Governor Ambode. And so
aspirants, you mean?
Aspirants emerge aside Ambode. And so this has made tongues wag about what there is an issue between the national leader and Ambode himself.
No, I don't think so. If you remember the stakeholder meeting that was held in NACME, in our party secretariat, the governor was there, and he accepted that we should go direct. In fact, he made a statement that Lagos should be a model because of the direct primary approach. And so, Lagosians can come out and buy form. For the fact that you buy form to contest for governorship, that does not mean you have won now. You go and test your popularity.
And it doesn't mean that there are issues between...
No, the governor had come out to say that he has no issue with the national leader. He has come out to say so. So why are Lagosians trying to whip sentiments into it? There are no issues. It's just that the people who have bought forms have right to buy forms the same way he has right to buy forms. Do you understand? Yes, you go in and go and lobby people to see how you can be voted in. But it's direct primary. How many people are you going to lobby, for God's sake? How many people? In the entire Lagos State? Oh, my God. So I think that the best thing is let everybody go and do their work and test their popularity within it.
All right, Honorable James Faleke, a member of the Federal House of Representatives representing Ikeja Federal Constituency. Thank you so much for your time on the program.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And with that, it's a wrap on the program for today. Thank you so much for watching. You can watch the repeat broadcast tomorrow. That's this edition tomorrow by 7 a.m. Enjoy your weekend. I am Veronica Dad Ikboy. Bye for now.